Goeienaand, welkom by Fokus. Ek is Lenet Francis. Bietjie later praat ons met Newsweek-redakteur Martin Wells oor sy ondersoek jare gelede na die Bird Island beweringe. En ons hoor wat die toekoms nou inhou vir die inwoners van Paradise Park in Hermanus na die beloftes van die Weskaapse regering. Die stof wil maar net nie gaan lê na die verskyning van die boek Die Seuns van Bird Island nie. Die afgelope week was die oorlewende medeskrywer van die boek Christine en die oud-polisie-generaal Johan van der Merwe in 'n woordestryd gewikkel oor die aflê van leuen-verklikkertoetse om te sien wie praat die waarheid. 3 oud-nasionale partyministers word in die boek daarvan beskuldig dat hulle jong seuns op onder meer Bird Island sou gemolesteer het. SABC Jade Lee Paulse van ons kantoor in Port Elizabeth het tydens die ander skrywer van die boek Mark Minnie se gedenkdiens met onder meer Christine gesels oor die boek en die afgelope weke se gebeure, asook Mark Minnie se dood. Hier is die volledige onderhoud.
I'm very sad. I'm very angry to have lost him. And I'm very determined to continue the work we started. Ons kry elke dag nuwe leidrade. En ek wens regtig Mark kon dit gesien het. Dit is al wat Mark wou gehad het. Genoeg nuwe leidrade om 'n nuwe ondersoek van stapel af te stuur. En dit het nou uiteindelik gebeur met die Human Rights Foundation wat onafhanklike ondersoekers aangestel het om die beweringe nie net rondom sy dood, maar ook die beweringe in die boek volledig te ondersoek.
Christine, Mark Minnie se medeskrywer van die boek Die Seuns van Bird Island sê, die opvolgboek waaraan Mark voor sy dood gewerk het, het nie gehandel oor Bird Island nie. Sy sê dit was 'n autobiografie. Minnie is verlede maand dood aangetref by 'n vriend se huis buite Port Elizabeth. 'n Getikte en 'n handgeskrewe selfmoordbrief is gevind. Die polisie glo hy het wel selfmoord gepleeg.
Ek glo dat hy wel sy eie lewe geneem het, maar ek dink daar was gebeure in die dae voor sy dood wat hom daartoe gedwing het. Op hierdie stadium kan ek nie sê wat daai gebeure was nie. Ek weet net hy sou nie net uit vrees vir sy eie lewe so 'n stap geneem het nie. Dit moes iets gewees het wat hom geen keuse gelaat het. Nee, en ek neem aan hy wou iemand beskerm. Iemand na hom beskerm.
Maar 'n goeie vriend en oud-kollega van Minnie stem nie saam nie.
Die eerste ding wat uiteindelik gekom het was 'n groot skok, want jy sal dit nooit van iemand soos Mark verwag het om sy eie lewe te neem. Ek glo dit nog steeds dat hy sy eie lewe geneem het.
Hoekom?
Want hy was nooit so 'n persoon nie. Hy was altyd 'n gelukkige mens, 'n positiewe mens in die lewe gewees. Jy het mense aan wie jy kon opkyk in die lewe.
Sedert die verskyning van die boek Die Seuns van Bird Island is daar ook hernuide belangstelling in Bird Island, sowat 58 km die see in vanaf Port Elizabeth. Een van die mans wat in die boek genoem is die sakeman en duiker Dave Allen, wat in 1987 oorlede is. Allen het 'n permit gehad om by die eiland te duik op 'n skip wat jare van tevore naby die eiland gesink het. Hier is die volledige onderhoud wat Jade Lee Paulse met die Nelson Mandela Bay toer-operateur Lloyd Edwards gevoer het oor die eiland en sy geskiedenis.
Bird Island's got a really amazing history out of all the islands in South Africa. The first shipwreck that was recorded there was in 1755, and that was the Doddington. And years later, one of the alleged perpetrators of what was going on there actually got the permit to salvage the Doddington, and he claimed not to have found any gold there, but this gold later surfaced in Sotheby's in London, claiming to be from the Doddington, and the South African government took like their half of it. So from after that stage, a lighthouse was built in 1854. It was the 4th lighthouse ever built in South Africa. And since then there's been 21 further shipwrecks. There's always something happening there. One of the lighthouse keepers' wives mysteriously drowned in the well on the island. And then until Sandparks sort of got their anti-poaching unit up and running, the abalone poachers were furious there, because I used to help with law enforcement, and one day we had 13 of them. So a lot of interesting history going down there.
I mean, if we look at the island itself, the beauty, the animals and everything, and then we listen to all the stories that have surfaced over the couple of months now, what is your take on that?
Well, you know, I've been running marine charters for 21 years to Bird Island, and I've been ferrying scientists to and fro the island. And it's I've seen the most incredible things on this planet. I mean, the sardine run comes past there every year, where there's thousands and thousands of tons of sardines that move up the coast, all the predators that are chasing them. I mean, we get TV crews from all over the world coming to film this. We've got the humpback whale migration, which runs from June until November every year. We've got 7,000 humpback whales coming past the island. We've got the South African fur seals at the island, which attracts the great white sharks. It's a known breeding ground, and we're very soon going to start a shark cage diving operation there. Then going on to the island itself, there's 270,000 Cape gannets. I mean, that's the largest gannetry on the planet. It's spectacular. There's a population of about 5,000 endangered African penguins, which is also one of their strongholds. And then when we leave the island, adjacent to the island, we've got the Alexandria Dune Field, which is the largest dune field in the southern hemisphere. We've got schools of dolphins, up to 600 at a time, that surf these waves down and then breach out the back. And that's out of a population of about 28,500 animals, dolphins, that actually use Algoa Bay. So it's amazing. On the one hand, you've got all this beauty, and the anomaly of this is that you've now had this alleged paedophile ring that was operating in such a beautiful place. It's a crisis, you know.
Was there any time, or was there any rumors that used to circulate back in the 80s and 90s when you were still busy, with running your tourism?
Well, yeah, with the tourism, there was always that aspect. I mean, there was always these rumors going around. There was mysterious suicides by some of the people. So, yeah, the stories were always there.
Let's talk about that permit that Dave Allen supposedly had. They gave him the rights to actually go to the wreck, but also to go to the Bird Island, I suppose.
Yes. Well, the permit that I saw was issued in 1982, and it was valid until 1986, and for the previous period of that as well. There was other permits issued before that. So Dave Allen was given the rights to salvage the Doddington from the National Monuments Commission, and also know that they had the rights for the harvesting of guano on the island. So that kind of gave them a presence on the island and a presence at sea.
Net hierna hoor ons wat die Newsweek redakteur Martin Wells te vertel het oor Bird Island. Bly ingeskakel. Welkom terug by Fokus. Die boek Die Seuns van Bird Island is reeds 'n blitsverkoper in Suid-Afrika, en daar is steeds twee kampe: die wat die beweringe wat in die boek gemaak word glo, en die wat dit afmaak as loutere twak. In die boek word 3 oud nasionale party ministers en 'n sakeman en duiker daarvan beskuldig dat hulle jong seuns op onder meer Bird Island sou gemolesteer het. Die beweringe doen reeds dekades lank die ronde, en een van die joernaliste wat daardie tyd die beweringe ondersoek het, is Martin Wells. Hy is deesdae die redakteur van die nuustydskrif Newsweek en het in die SABC se ateljee in Seepunt met kollega Dani Juffers gesels.
'n Subtitel van die omstrede boek Die Seuns van Bird Island maak sy doel duidelik: 'n skokkende onthulling uit die hart van die NP-regering. En die boek het wel geskok soos min. Dit is reeds 'n blitsverkoper landwyd, en Die Seuns van Bird Island het sedertdien lof sowel as kwaai kritiek ontlok. 'n Honger media het die boek se trefkrag verder verhoog met nuwe beweringe en heftige ontkennings. Onlangs het die veteraan ondersoekende joernalis Martin Wells en deesdae redakteur van Newsweek met nog inligting oor die Bird Island sage vorendag gekom. Volgens Wells het hy inligting bekom oor 'n besoek in die laat 80er jare deur senior politici, waaronder die destydse ministers Magnus Malan en John Wiley, aan Bird Island. Sy bron was 'n broer van Dave Allen, een van die hoofkarakters in die Bird Island boek.
And he also told me about the island and how his brother had entertained very senior people on the island. He'd had a business partner called Hans Beneke from Johannesburg. It took me a while to register that the interest in this island was a guano island, and the Dave Allen had got the concession to harvest the guano, and his partner in that business was Hans Beneke, who was in the fertilizer industry or whatever, and had the funds, a very rich man. Anyway, but that they had entertained politicians and military people on the island, and Dave told me that that there was a lighthouse keeper just on the mainland opposite the island, and that on a day the lighthouse keeper had been summoned, and there were a small crowd of coloured teenagers, kids outside, saying he must radio the people on the island and tell them they're here, they want their money, or they're going to the police. To tell the police what. Okay, and there was no cell phones in there. There's no telephone connection to the island. It had to be by radio, and the lighthouse had a radio. I don't know whether the lighthouse keeper transmitted that message. I don't have the notes anymore, but my recollection is that he said he did, but that nothing happened. Nobody came, and the kids went. Okay, I then go looking for the lighthouse keeper, because that's going to give me a clue to who the kids were maybe, and who was on the island, and so on. So I find that the lighthouse keeper's left. He's been transferred to another lighthouse, one of the few still manned ones on the west coast of the Cape. And I find him, get a telephone number, didn't see him, but spoke to him on telephone. He confirmed that there'd been such an incident, that these kids had arrived, and that they were demanding money from the people on the island. He also told me that there were military people and senior people on the island, and that they'd arrived by Air Force helicopter. So that much I knew. But it was still not a publishable story, because the insinuations were not good. So I followed up then with Hans Beneke. And Hans Beneke told me that yes, they had been on the island, the ministers had been there, the politicians had been there, they had flown in with helicopters, but it was a completely innocent thing that they had unveiled whatnot in the new jetty that had been built for the ski boats to land to bring in the stuff that they were collecting off these sea wrecks that Alan was diving to, and they were all interested in that. And he said the politicians were there to talk politics where they couldn't be heard. And they said it was a time in National Party politics very much like ANC politics today. Major factions at war with one another, competing with one another. So it was quite conceivable that these three politicians chose to come and talk politics on an island where they couldn't be eavesdropped on, no telephone thing, nothing. It is possible. And I say I've since met other people who have insisted that they too at one stage were invited to visit this island and the ski boat and see the deep sea diving stuff, and where there was no sexual connotation to the visit at all. So that possibility remains. If you want to make allegations about nasty things happening on the island, you're going to have to find the victims at this stage, I'm afraid. That we have circumstantial evidence, yeah, there is circumstantial evidence, but I think in the news world, these rumours about the island, because I'm sure Jeff Allen, this is Dave Allen's brother, spoke to not just to me, but to other friends in journalism. So I'm not surprised that Chris Steyn had heard the story. And, I'm sure many others knew the story. I've met many people who said, yeah, they heard these stories long ago. So, but now maybe Minnie arrives and meets, I don't know how the two meet, I don't recall. But okay, it's a story to tell, and it's a story which you can now tell because the man who's going to sue the hell out of you is no longer there. The government that's going to crack down on you is no longer there. It's a good story to tell.
Volgens Wells is dit onwaarskynlik dat die medeskrywer Mark Minnie moontlik vermoor is, soos soms bespiegel. Hy glo ook dat dit tydmors en 'n verkwisting van geld sal wees om 'n moontlike kommissie van ondersoek na die Bird Island beweringe van stapel te stuur.
We have such a backlog of really serious current cases that need to be investigated. I mean, rapes, murders, paedophilia, whatever. I mean, the country is falling apart at the moment, and we want to now go satisfy our curiosity about events that happened 30 years ago. As I say, I think it would be fool to think that, as I say, things like that couldn't happen in the good old days, and they only happen now. That's absurd. I mean, I think insofar as we're all human and we're all capable of doing any number of ghastly things, it's not restricted to any particular race, nation. We all have our turn, I think. But that's the only lesson maybe to be learned from it. But honestly, I think, yes, a waste of time and money, undoubtedly.
Bly ingeskakel, net hierna vertel Dani Jeffers ons wat die uitkoms was van die Wes-Kaapse regering se besoek aan die inwoners van Paradise Park in Hermanus. Die inwoners word met uitsetting gedreig. Moenie weggaan nie, ons is nou terug. Fokus het verlede maand berig oor die inwoners van 'n woonpark in Hermanus wat uitsetting in die gesig staar weens 'n beplanning behuisingsprojek. Kort daarna het die Wes-Kaapse minister van menslike nedersettings die park besoek om na inwoners se klagtes te luister. Hy het toe beloof om spoedig terug te keer met antwoorde en moontlike oplossings. Regisseur Dani Jeffers het vroeër die week gaan kyk of hy toe sy belofte gestand gedoen het.
Na maande se onsekerheid vir die Paradise Park inwoners, blyk dit asof daar nou nader aan 'n moontlike oplossing vir al die betrokke partye beweeg word. Tydens die Wes-Kaapse minister van menslike nedersettings, Bonginkosi Madikizela, se eerste besoek aan die park sowat 3 weke gelede, is plegtige beloftes gemaak.
I want to ask you, Minister, you've made that commitment, that promise. Will you keep that promise to come back on the 3rd of September?
Absolutely. Look, there are grannies and grandfathers here. And you cannot play with these people's emotions. And that is why I immediately looked at my diary and made a commitment that I must come back here on the 3rd, which is about 2 weeks from now, so that we can find a way to really assist them. And the reason why I'm giving myself 2 weeks is because I need to engage, the owner of the land, and also the municipality, so that we can find a solution. I'm determined to find a solution.
Die afgelope maandag het Fokus gaan kyk of die minister sy belofte gestand doen, en dit blyk dat die Paradise Park aangeleentheid nou inderdaad met erns aangespreek word. Hoopvolle inwoners het weer in groot getalle opgedaag om na die minister se beloofde terugvoering te kom luister.
Look, I think the main thing is that there is an in principle agreement, with the landowner that we need to find a solution for the people of Paradise Park here. I think we're now busy with the mechanics of how to do that. And of course, there are various options that we are putting on the table. Of course, taking into cognizance that the landowner wanted to invest here. And of course, there will be implications for him and for us as well as government. But I think ultimately, my first prize is to make sure that we find a solution for Paradise Park people here.
But that's still going to be a fairly long process, I suppose.
I think the first thing that we need to do, if we do indeed agree with the landowner, we must just take away this eviction order that is hanging over people's head. And I think no matter how long it takes, if we can take that away, people, I think they will sleep better at night. Because I think that is the main thing from their side. So they understand that these things take time, but as long as we can just take that away so that we can start this process on a clean slate.
Die minister het toe sy belofte gestand gedoen. Wat is jou indrukke en hoe voel die inwoners en jy daaroor oor wat hy nou vandag hier beloof het?
Currently we're feeling very, very happy with what we have got so far. Like I've been telling everybody, let us leave it up to the Minister of Housing, let us leave it up to the Western Cape Government and the Mayor of Hermanus to see where they can solve the problems for all the different people in the park. So yes, but they are feeling positive. Let's hope that the positivity is going to stay, and let's see what we're going to get out of the whole thing.
But it's a victory for the residents now.
It is a victory for us residents, but like I say, we'll only have the victory once we've got the answers.
In die aard van die saak is daar 'n potensiaal geleentheid om hierdie situasie te hanteer op die voorstelle wat hy gemaak het indien de 110 goed in plek val. Dit is baie maklik gesê, maar dit moet gedoen word en dit moet ook wees daar moet ooreenkomste bereik word wat natuurlik baie moeilik verkry gaan word. Ek dink uit die aard van die saak gaan daar meer ongerief wees vir die mense as wat hulle besef. Finansieel moet dit ook haalbaar wees vir al die partye betrokke. En uit die aard van die saak moet my kliënt gelukkig wees om so plan te entertain.
Maar ten minste lyk daar of daar gekyk word na 'n moontlike wen-wen situasie vir almal, nee.
Uit die aard van die saak is dit wat ons ook graag sal wil hê. Ons verstaan dit is nie sommer net 'n eenvoudige, maklike saak en mense hanteer dit sommer net so in die verbygaan nie. Maar die minister het 'n goeie gedagte, of het 'n goeie idee en ons sal moet sien of dit uitvoerbaar is.
Dit gaan 'n lang proses wees, nee.
Uit die aard van die saak sal dit 'n lang proses wees. Ons het uit die aard van die saak my kliënt het al hulle planne ingedien vir die ontwikkelingsregte vir hersonering en vir onderverdeling ensovoorts. Daardie proses is al reeds aan die gang. En uit die aard van die saak ons nie daai proses wil stop en oorbegin nie. So mense moet kyk ook hoe dit geïntegreer kan word met daardie plan.
Min twyfel bestaan dat dit inderdaad nog 'n lang pad is om te stap vir al die onderskeie rolspelers. Vir nou egter kan die inwoners van Paradise Park vereers agteroor sit en 'n sug van verligting slaak dat 'n moontlike uitsetting dalk voorkom gaan word en die stukkie paradys hulle woonplek sal bly.
En dis ongelukkig al vir vanaand. Dankie dat julle ons oë en ons ore is. Ons is volgende Sondag aand weer op ons pos. Stuur gerus jou kommentaar, jou tweets en jou voorstelle aan ons. Jy kan dit vir ons e-pos na fokus@sabc.co.za. Word ook 'n lid van ons Fokus groep op ons Fokus blad op Facebook. Soek onder by Fokus SABC en volg ons ook op Twitter by Fokus ZA. Baie dankie vir die terugvoer en vir die saamkyk. Goeie week verder. Totsiens.